Houston fans are holding their collective breath after an unfortunate preseason injury just wiped out a vital depth piece on the roster. The front office is scrambling to bring in an emergency replacement, and a recent tryout could suddenly become our newest signing. Smash that like button and subscribe for your daily Houston Texans updates. Graham Mertz has likely suffered a season-ending torn ACL during our preseason loss to the Los Angeles Chargers, a devastating turn of events for our depth chart. According to Adam Schefter, the organization fears the injury is severe, which would sideline our primary QB3 for both the remainder of the preseason and the entire upcoming regular season. This hit is especially difficult for supporters who recognize that Mertz is now facing his second ACL tear in the last 3 years. Having served as our reliable third-string option since last season, his absence leaves a glaring hole behind Stroud and Davis Mills. Fans are understandably worried about the lack of insurance we now have in that room, and honestly, the timing could not be much worse for the squad. Think about it this way. We are suddenly desperate for veteran arms who can handle snaps over the next 2 weeks of exhibition play. Could the front office turn to the free agent market to fill this vacancy? We already know the organization hosted workouts for Jake Haener and Seth Henigan earlier this week, providing a natural list of candidates to pursue immediately. Haener brings experience from his 2024 stint with the New Orleans Saints, while Henigan is an undrafted talent who has spent time on the practice squads of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. Does the front office decide to circle back to those specific names, or will they cast a wider net to ensure our room is stabilized? With medical tests still pending to confirm the initial diagnosis, we have to ask ourselves if we can afford to gamble on inexperienced backups, or if a more seasoned hand is required to manage these final preseason games under pressure. The uncertainty of the next few days will define our depth strategy moving forward. Management likely realizes that losing a veteran body like Mertz mid-preseason creates a dangerous void in terms of pure practice capacity for our remaining signal callers. Having to rely solely on Stroud and Davis Mills during these exhibition games puts our starters at unnecessary risk when they should be resting. The part fans are not ready for is just how thin our backup depth looks when you consider that Mertz was essentially our insurance policy. Looking back at his career, dealing with a second ACL issue in only 3 years is a brutal blow to his personal trajectory as a professional athlete. Does this injury force our hand into signing someone like Jake Haener, who despite limited action possesses that rare regular season experience as a former 4th-round draft choice? With 228 passing yards and that single touchdown under his belt from his 2024 outing with the New Orleans Saints, he provides a baseline level of competency that is hard to ignore right now. Seth Henigan presents a different, more developmental angle for the staff to consider, given his history grinding on practice squads across the league since 2025. Between his stints with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts, he understands what it takes to function within an NFL facility under pressure. I truly wonder if the front office considers these two candidates as simple depth, or if they are looking for a long-term project to fill this spot. With medical tests still pending to confirm the initial diagnosis, the tension in the building is palpable as we weigh the value of these available free agents. Would you be comfortable moving forward with just 2 arms? Or does this roster move feel like an absolute requirement to survive these final 2 exhibition weeks against the Raiders? Moving past the immediate shock of losing Graham Mertz, we need to focus on what this means for our roster health during the next few weeks. And here's why that's a big deal for our organization. With Mertz likely out for the long haul due to that torn ACL, the depth chart takes an immediate hit that forces our front office to pivot quickly. We simply cannot enter the upcoming regular season with only 2 healthy quarterbacks on the roster, as the physical toll on Stroud and Davis Mills would be far too high to justify during these remaining preseason games. Does the prospect of signing a free agent like Jake Haener, who possesses NFL experience from his time in New Orleans, feel like the only logical path forward now? His 228 career passing yards and that single touchdown show he has been under the lights before, which is exactly the kind of insurance we need to survive the rest of this exhibition stretch against opponents like the Las Vegas Raiders. Alternatively, bringing in Seth Henigan offers a different approach, given his journey through various practice squads, including the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts since he first entered the league in 2025. This injury changes the urgency regarding our backup depth overnight, potentially shifting our entire plan for managing reps. If we wait too long to fill this vacancy, we are asking for trouble by overworking our primary playmakers in games that do not count. Watching our depth vanish like this creates a tangible fear that we might be exposed if the worst happens again later this fall. Making a move to solidify this room is no longer just a hypothetical suggestion for the scouts. It is a necessity to ensure that our competitive standing remains intact when the real games finally arrive. Adding a new arm becomes a mandatory adjustment if we want to protect our starters from excessive wear throughout these exhibition games. Signing a veteran like Jake Haener, who was a fourth-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, offers a known baseline of professional experience that could settle the room quickly. His 228 career passing yards and that single touchdown earned during his 2024 outing with the New Orleans Saints provide tangible proof he has performed under actual stadium lights. Seth Henigan, the undrafted product out of Memphis, represents a different kind of investment since he has spent the last year navigating practice squads with both the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. Here is where it gets interesting, as the front office must determine if these specific workouts from last week carry enough weight to justify an immediate roster commitment now. Is it possible that we look for someone else entirely, casting a wider net instead of circling back to these two guys? The risk here is clearly in the learning curve, as bringing in anyone new requires them to grasp the playbook at a breakneck speed before the Las Vegas Raiders matchup arrives. Pushing back on the immediate rush to sign them, I worry that we might just be adding bodies rather than finding a long-term solution for our depth. What I really think is that while we need insurance to keep Stroud and Davis Mills off the field, we should be cautious about overreacting just because the team fears a torn ACL for Graham Mertz. If we settle for a stopgap simply because we saw him last week, we might miss out on a better fit. My honest take here is that we should proceed with the signing only if the coaching staff truly believes they can contribute right away. Looking at the injury report alongside the potential free agent scramble, the clear picture for our franchise is that stability at the backup position has become a sudden and urgent priority for this upcoming season. Our long-term direction relies heavily on maintaining a healthy, effective pipeline behind CJ, Stroud, and losing a seasoned hand like Mertz forces the front office to reconcile their immediate preseason needs with their desire for reliable depth. You should feel cautious but hopeful that the team is already performing due diligence by hosting workouts for Jake Haener and Seth Henigan. These names are not household stars, but they provide the essential insurance we need to navigate the coming weeks without overworking our starters. And honestly, relying on the tape and scouting reports already in the building makes more sense than risking a total unknown. Developing this roster requires a delicate balance of protecting our core playmakers while ensuring that whoever steps in can manage the offensive tempo under pressure. I find it difficult to imagine the staff remaining idle while our depth chart looks this thin, especially with exhibition matchups against teams like the Las Vegas Raiders still on the horizon. Do you believe the front office should prioritize the NFL experience of Jake Haener over the younger potential of Seth Henigan for this roster vacancy? Furthermore, would you be comfortable relying on just two quarterbacks for the entire remainder of the preseason if no signing is made by Monday? I'm genuinely interested to hear your thoughts on this urgent situation in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Torah time. I will see you in the next one. Stay tuned for more updates as the season unfolds, and thanks for being part of our incredible community.